All right. Hey, everybody. It's Isaac from Powered by Rock here. I'm here with Keaton from Raised on TV, a great little band that I happened to discover because Keaton reached out to me through Instagram and said, "Hey, you like Silver Sun Pickups? That's a great influence of ours. We know we like that band too. Maybe you'd like to check out our music." And I said, "Sure. Like, I love to hear new bands." So I did. And I was pleasantly surprised because it's not every day you hear somebody that, gives you unsolicited kind of, music to listen to. That actually ends up being great. So I was pretty stoked. I was like, yeah, I talked about you guys with the song release that you did. We did a little video premiere for your last song, Like a Drug, or your latest song, I should say, and loved it. Loved the video, loved the concept, loved I've gone back and listened to your catalog now, like a lot of what you guys are doing. So thanks, Keaton. Thanks for being here, and thanks for joining me with this interview today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Isaac. Thanks for that awesome introduction, man.
Yep, great. All right, so just to kind of get everybody kind of understanding what you guys are, who you guys are, where you're from, and all this stuff. Kind of give me a brief synopsis of what's the journey been like of your band. What's the bio of the band, who's in it, and what do you guys do, and what kind of style of music you guys play, and all that good stuff.
Yeah, definitely, man. So right now it's me and my brother. My brother's name is Kacey. He's the drummer, and then I play guitar and sing and write most of the songs. But it wasn't always that way. We kind of became a brotherly duo, but we started as actually a 4-piece band, and then some members kind of switched out through the years. We started back in 2016, and we were a 3-piece for a long time, and then we actually lost our bass player. He quit on a national tour. So we were forced.
You just fed up with life on the road, or what?
Well, kind of. He didn't actually even make it out. He was supposed to fly out and meet us in New York, and he canceled his flight and everything last minute. And what ended up happening was we had to figure out a set that we could play as a 2-piece because we had 20 more shows on the road, and we had to get some tracks together. So I was in the van on GarageBand recording a bunch of bass tracks to a metronome. And then Kacey got really good at playing to a click because he had to.
Yeah.
And then, we finished out the tour that way, and it kind of just made us a lot stronger as a 2-piece band. And we came back to LA, which is where we're from. And we had a bunch more shows in LA at that time. And we played them as a 2-piece just to kind of see what would happen. And it was cool. There was a cool energy to it. We would prefer to play with, a human being on the bass. But and since that tour, we have played with other people and recorded with other people, but we just we've left the main lineup, just me and him, just because the vibe is truthful and cool, and we're definitely open to making the official lineup more than the two of us at some point. But right now we're moving forward as a brotherly duo, and it's been doing all right. So.
Yeah, and there's lots of bands out there that use 2 pieces and then kind of expand. I mean, Portugal the Man is essentially a 2-piece at the core. It's the bass player, the guitar player. Local H is a 2-piece that also brings other bands out there. So it's not like you guys are the first or only 2-piece band out there. And some people don't even ever add a bass player. It's not necessary. It does fill in a lot of that feeling of the music, and it's really great. But it's not necessary. And I think it's pretty cool that you guys were able to kind of change on the fly. I've been in bands in the past, and I've never actually been a national tour or anything. I've never been a touring musician, but even just getting together for practice, it's like, man, what time can you be here? It's like, we're waiting for you. Show up, man. Let's go.
I know, man.
The fewer members you can have, usually the logistics work out a little bit easier.
Yeah, it does kind of work out in a way.
Yeah. So cool. So you guys are currently in the process of releasing your new album, Fernando. It's Fernando, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
By launching each song as a single accompanied by a music video, which is a pretty cool process. I haven't seen too many people, maybe like a Justin Bieber or somebody, or Rihanna, do this, but on an independent rock label or rock style, never seen a lot of people do it. So what made you guys decide to do it this way? And what are kind of the pros and cons you're seeing so far?
So, I mean, well, we had recorded the whole album, in one chunk, in one piece. And we just kind of seeing how music is these days, the music market and everything. Everything's so single oriented, so single based, and people's attention spans are just a lot shorter, especially with younger people.
Yeah.
and due to the internet and
Too much Baby
Instagram.
Shark in this millennium.
Yeah, a lot of Baby Shark going around, a lot of kids raised on Baby Shark. Um, so yeah, so it's just kind of like it just makes more sense for a band in our position, not a super well-known band, to kind of get more attention through releasing one song, one single, ideally with a video, some kind of cool visual thing to go with it, one at a time, and space them out every 3 to 4 weeks. And we've been doing 3 weeks just to kind of push ourselves more.
Yeah.
But yeah, just kind of from a marketing standpoint, it kind of it works a little bit better in today's music world, with streaming and Spotify and everything.
Yep.
Because another thing too is like with Spotify, if you put out your whole album at once, you're able to submit one song to their editors to,
Yep.
Possibly get selected for the bigger playlists.
Yep.
But if you do one single at a time, then every single has a shot.
Yeah. Gives you 10 times more the amplification possibly.
Yeah, totally. So it's kind of a numbers game too.
Yeah. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, it's great. You're thinking about the tech algorithms and all that stuff and ways to expose and interact with that. And I think that's great because a lot of bands out there, they're like, oh man, we just got done. Here's the album. Yeah. And then if it doesn't hit, they're like, man, that was a lot of work for nothing.
Yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And we've been that band.
Yeah.
We've been, our first album called Season 1 was kind of that way. That was back in 2017 when we released that. And we kind of learned all this stuff, through doing it through the hard way. But yeah, we put out, I think 2 singles and then just kind of put the whole thing out there. And it was like 14 songs. And, some people got into it, but I felt like mostly it kind of went to waste in a way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's good. Yeah. I mean, that's good. That's good advice for people who are listening to this, who might have a band that they're looking to get more exposure for as well. It's like, there are, better ways than just dumping an album on the internet and saying, go listen to it, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Unless you're, the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Dave Grohl and Taylor Hawkins.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're still doing like Super Bowl commercials and stuff. So, I mean, yeah, they've got the other ways of marketing, I suppose.
Sure. But yeah, no, I definitely recommend that for any band.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you're doing obviously music videos with this. And now the last single, Like a Drug, actually had 2 videos. You had the video, which I thought was kind of a throwback to something like Take On Me's Aha.
Yeah.
Aha, Take On Me. And then you kind of did a lyric video too. So talk about kind of what was the process of creating the first one, which is like a neon light kind of Etch-a-Sketch looking thing. And then the other one, which is a lyric video.
Yeah. So yeah, we did that shoot, and then I was doing an edit with what we had. We had this kind of concept with all these cool lights and stuff. And Kacey, the drummer, and my brother, he was also doing an edit just to kind of see what he could come up with.
Gotcha.
And we kind of get into this thing sometimes, me and him, where it's kind of like a friendly competition, like we try to one up each other with like whatever. So it's been happening with music video edits. And so I had this edit going that I thought was pretty cool, but I wasn't like this has to be the final. And then he started messing with it. And then I think it was 2 days before the release date, he tried this effect that ended up being the final video. That was kind of like that Take On Me kind of outlining kind of thing. And I was like, you know what, man, that's cooler than what I had going. Forget my edit. Yeah. Let's go with yours. And
that's cool.
Yeah, and then so what I did kind of became the lyric video. I just threw some. It was like, yeah, it was still kind of cool. Like it was worth, being seen in some way.
Yeah, so, I think they both have their good values, and
yeah,
obviously when especially if people can't understand lyrics or can't listen to the music, lyric videos are always good because then it actually gives the meaning of the song, right? So they can visually see what you're talking about.
Absolutely, and they're kind of there still is a place for lyric videos. It seems like some people people still like them.
Well, it's good that you're not just going on Fiverr and getting some guy to create a lyric video for you.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's kind of a thing now, huh?
Yeah. All right. So, I've actually gone back and watched your full catalog of all your videos on YouTube. And I've gone back, listened to season 1. Haven't had the chance to listen to the full album of Fernando yet because you haven't released it all, but look forward to that.
Thanks.
Kind of, it's good to know that you're really into the video concept now. My question is kind of is in your blood because you guys are in LA that just to venture towards the medium of visual, and then or is it kind of just you have an abundance of talent there in LA that maybe you can tap into, directors, photographers, videographers? Is it make it a little bit easier being in LA?
Yeah. It's definitely both of those things you were talking about. It's kind of innate. Like I used to make a lot of films, like short films, and I
Mhm.
made one feature film back in the day, kind of for fun, pursuing it somewhat professionally. So I have some background in it, and but yeah, and then we're also, there's a lot of friends that we have that either do it professionally or they're trying to, so they're hungry
Mhm.
to get attached to a project and sink their teeth into something. So you can definitely kind of put feelers out and find a lot of people for whatever you're looking for. And so yeah, that is kind of like a cool gift in a sense, being in LA, a big pool of people to pull from, to work with.
Yep.
And depending on what you're doing, you could keep it kind of small. Might be a small team that you need,
Yep.
and the more that you can do yourself, like we're pretty good at editing, so we don't have to hire out for that unless we're doing something kind of crazy, which would be cool. But
Some sort of Transformer style stuff.
yeah, doing some Michael Bay, kind of going to call up Shia LaBeouf
Yeah.
and do a Transformers thing down the line. But yeah, so yeah, it is kind of cool being in LA. To it does help make videos, I think.
Yeah. So obviously I could tell by the way you shot the videos that there was some sort of history of film and filmography and stuff like that in there.
Right on.
So what kind of got you, obviously you just said you created a feature film, and what kind of got you into the music versus the the filmmaking stuff, and are you happy that you get a time together now?
Yeah. I mean, well, I still want to make more films at some point, but I get back into that some more. But it kind of came down to a choice for me where with music, it was something else that I always pursued and I always did. Going back to when I was a kid, for fun, something that I loved. And when it came time to kind of be a little more selective with my time and what I was pursuing professionally, I decided to go with something that I kind of just loved more, I guess, and
Mhm.
also that I felt more comfortable doing, even when it was like a really tough time, even like in the hardest times. I just kind of felt like the love was strong enough to keep me going on, this pursuit. And you can't say the same for all artistic pursuits,
Yeah.
no matter whatever it is you might be into. So yeah, I think that's kind of what it came down to for me was, I love music enough that I knew even like in the darkest times, I would keep going. I wouldn't give up.
Yeah. And I think, I always, because I also do like, business coaching and stuff like that. And that's
Oh,
one
yeah.
thing that I think a lot of people who get into anything, they think that like it's going to be a road that's, if they're just talk with the right people, it's going to be smooth enough. It's like, no, there'll always be hurdles put in front of you. And it's that hurdle that you'll get to it and just say, that's too hard of a hurdle, I'm going to stop. Or you actually truly do love this thing enough to where you're going to try to get over that hurdle.
Right.
So it's great to hear that, when you have like those hurdles, band member quitting right before a tour or in the middle of a tour,
Yeah.
like those are things that you just like, fuck it, like we got to get this done, like this is what I want to do, so I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, in a pre-interview question I had for you guys, I asked what is
Yeah.
the end goal of the band, and you basically answered to be able to pay our rent.
Yeah.
So I assume that as an independent recording and distribution process that you have,
Yeah.
are you guys signed to a record label at current?
Currently, we're not now.
Okay. So how does that, day-to-day life look like for you? Are you guys working full time? Are you, touring when you can? Obviously right now you can't actually play live music venues in California.
Yeah.
In Florida, you could if you wanted to go there, but
Yeah. Right.
it's a bit of a journey.
Sure.
But what does day-to-day life look like for, independent rockers like yourselves?
Yeah. I mean, well, yeah. During COVID, is definitely one thing versus pre-COVID for sure. Um, I would say before the pandemic, we were both holding down some kind of job. Casey's at a restaurant, and I also work as a substitute teacher,
Okay.
kind of like Jack Black in School Rock or something.
Yeah, actually I saw that in, I think, one of your videos, and I was like, is he actually a teacher?
Yeah, that's for real. So yeah, those are kind of our day jobs, and we'd get on the road and play as many shows as we could, and we'd make something, and it'd be awesome, and we'd get by on it. And then when the pandemic hit, yeah, it put a stop to all live touring, and at that time, that was our main source of income from music, was playing live.
Yeah.
And we'd sell, sell shirts and whatever, get people out. But yeah, I mean, so it's been, definitely a tough time for us financially when it comes to music. But we're really trying to up our content and the quality of our content and the consistency of our content to kind of, to look at it in a sense where we're not just a band, but we're kind of like a content creator. We're a channel. We're um, something along those lines where
Yeah.
we're consistently putting out something that's cool, not just kind of quickly put together,
Yeah.
that could generate streams and through that income
Yeah.
on a so I guess that's what a lot of people are trying to do. But yeah, so aside from that, yeah, we're holding down jobs and every other every spare moment we have, put it into working on this project.
Yeah. And that's cool. I mean, it's kind of like a curse, but a blessing, because when you can't do what you normally do, you're forced to find other things that you can do that helps you accompany or supplement that stuff. Right. So
Yeah,
a lot of people, lose a job, but then they're like, hey, let me focus on building my own business, or actually pursuing my passion or whatever. Like these
sure.
are things that, COVID literally like ripped people out of their comfortability factor and
Hmm.
put them back into a, what the shit am I supposed to do now kind of factor. Right. So I think it's
Yeah.
good. It's a blessing and a curse, but it's good to hear that, you guys are agile and you guys are moving with the trends.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
That's cool to hear. Yeah, we're definitely making an effort to do that for
Yeah.
sure.
So let me just ask you, this is kind of an interesting question, because everybody's going to have different responses to this, but
Yeah.
what are some of your favorite parts about the choice to pursue a rock and roll career? And what are some of your least favorite parts about it?
Yeah. Favorite parts. Definitely traveling. I guess before COVID.
Yeah.
That was among the favorite parts. Just yeah, being able to go to new places and see new stuff and just do all kinds of fun random things that you wouldn't do otherwise, because you're traveling to play music. And that was so much of what kind of made me love being in a band,
Hmm.
was yeah, getting in a van and going all around the country. Maybe even going up to Canada sometimes, which we did. And yeah, just like seeing stuff,
Yeah.
doing like just feeling alive.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, least favorite. um, yeah, what is my least favorite being in a rock band? I guess it was yeah, dealing with band members that like don't want to put in the work, don't want
Yeah.
to put in the time. And then that kind of like worked itself out, because it boiled us down to two guys.
Yeah.
So not dealing with that as much anymore. But when we had to, yeah, that was definitely among the least favorite thing.
Yeah. It's kind of like being a manager at a retail store. You got to babysit adults to do what you want them to
Yeah,
do. And it's like, look, if you don't want to be here, there's
right,
other people. Right. So
right.
yeah, it's definitely, like I said, I've never been a nationally touring musician, but even just trying to get people to jam with you, it's like, Jesus, man, like, let's get together. Like, do you want to do this? Like, can we grow this or not? Or if not, then
Yeah,
let's just stop.
totally, man. And yeah, I mean, it's no secret that there's a lot of flakes in the music world,
Yeah.
especially in the rock and roll world, and just people, not meeting their commitments and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's definitely not fun.
Yeah. So, big question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think it will take for you guys to break through to the next level?
Um, yeah, I mean, that is the question. That's the money question. Um, I suppose it could be a number of things. Uh, it could be one song that we put out on any given week, for some reason, kind of picks up and really kind of generates a lot of interest and attention, and there's a huge boost in the numbers from that.
Mhm.
Um, so that's one thing that does happen a lot to bands. Another thing, and this is more like in a non-pandemic world, is that you are able to get on the road with a bigger band and maybe do some dates opening up for them. it puts you in front of a lot of new potential fans. And then if you play a great show and bring it, then that's another way to kind of really boost your fan base and your credibility. But yeah, I mean, I also don't entirely know, you
Mhm.
know. I feel like, especially in today's music world, it's so many things are unknown when it comes to that. When it comes to breaking an artist, it's kind of, in so many ways, it kind of feels like you're trying things, you're experimenting to see what sticks. Um, and I don't know, like, if anyone really fully knows, like, yeah, this is what you have to do. Um, you kind of just have to try things, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think if you ask me the question, there's two things to that answer, and you're
Okay.
right
Please tell me.
in this sense. Number one, you have to get exposure, right? So
Yeah.
either through virality on the internet or through live shows with other bands, all that stuff. Right? Exposure is massive, right?
Yeah.
You have to make great music. I think you got number two pretty well down. You make awesome music.
Thanks, man.
I'm here to help you try to get more exposure as well. That's
Yeah.
why I brought you on. So I want to
Yeah.
interview.
That's
I want
appreciated.
to make sure that I can do the small things in my power to help you amplify your exposure. And I think if people see this interview, if they listen to your music, that's going to help you guys. And I'm grateful that you've given me the opportunity to kind of use my little bit of influence in the world to help you there. So I think
I'm
that you
grateful
guys
as
are
well.
on the right path. And the fact that you're willing to actually go out of your way and randomly DM some company about, hey, we got this cool new music video. Would you like to check it out?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So like you are passionate about it. You're doing the little things. It might take longer than you expected, but
Right.
I think you're on the path. I think what you just need to do, and I'm not your manager or anything like that, but it is a numbers game, right? Just get more
Yeah.
exposure, find more
Yeah.
people out there that are willing to, showcase you guys. And I'm glad that you could come on and talk to us today, because I want more people to see you and listen to your music. And, I kind of try to put together, like, in my opinion, what kind of bands you kind of sounded like.
Yeah.
I don't have any particular one, but I was like, maybe it's like a mashup of like Elvis, Depeche Mode, Weezer, and like Silver Sun Pickups,
That's
something like
cool.
that.
Yeah. 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 I totally hear that. We are kind of this weird, mashup of stuff.
Yeah. And I think most music should. It shouldn't sound like something you've already heard. It should seem familiar, but it
Yeah.
shouldn't sound exactly the same, right? So I think you've done
Yeah.
a great job there, and I love the way that you guys sound. So
Thanks, man.
thanks for having coming on.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that a lot. Thank you.
Yep. I have some rapid fire questions here for you.
All right. Let's hear it.
So I'm just going to try to list a few here. I've written some down. I'm going to actually came up with a couple more while we were talking, but
Okay.
number one, what's your favorite band, or maybe a band people might have heard of that you guys have actually played with? Pick one or the other. Favorite band or band people have heard of that you guys have played with.
That we've played with.
Yep.
Marcy Playground.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Sex and Candy. Is that the song?
Yeah. Sex and Candy.
Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So what's your favorite, because you play guitar, what's your favorite type of guitar?
I'm gonna go classic and say Fender Stratocaster.
Okay, cool. I play a Telecaster, a couple other Paul Reed Smith, but
Oh yeah, I
Telecaster
love
is my favorite. So right up in there.
right on.
All right. So what bands influence your music?
I mean, a wide variety of bands for sure, going all the way back to the early days of bands and rock and roll. A lot of classic rock, Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, The Who, Led Zeppelin, Cream. So a lot of the great early rock stuff. And then fast forwarding a bit to the 90s, a lot of 90s bands for sure. Smashing Pumpkins, Nirvana, Weezer, Green Day, Blink-182,
Yeah.
The Offspring, that big old wave of 90s rock bands for sure. And then also kind of like a little bit later than that, even like the 2000s sort of indie rock wave that kind of hit with like Death Cab for Cutie and the Shins,
Okay.
Silver Sun Pickups, Interpol. So yeah, a lot. I would say it kind of comes down to probably that group of bands I just named, I think.
It's awesome. It's
Yeah,
good
I
variety
left
too,
out a
because it
bunch.
brings everything together, right? I mean, I don't know of one person who's intricately involved in music that doesn't have favorite bands from the past 70 years.
Yeah. I mean, there's been so much good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah.
So other than your own music, what's the last album you listened to in full?
Oh man. That's a good question. Yeah,
You
no,
said
what
it.
was
Most
it?
people just listen to singles these days. That's why I want to know.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome question. I think I've definitely played Death Cab for Cutie's album Plans
Okay.
in full a lot within the last couple months. Um, but I guess I'm guilty of it too, man. I've been single bouncing, single
Yeah.
hopping.
Just
Uh,
hitting, you know, what is it like shuffle mode on your playlist or something?
yeah, hit shuffle or like doing, Spotify algorithm playlists.
Yeah.
I've been listening to trying to listen to a lot of new stuff. So I'll put on like the release radar and kind
Yeah.
of shuffle that. But I mean, the Weezer Blue album, that's an album I'll still put on front to back.
Yeah. One of the greatest ones of all time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't listened to it in forever, but Nirvana, Nevermind, of
Yeah.
course. Um,
Fantastic.
pretty much any Beatles album.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. So another question. What bands would you like to tour with as soon as that becomes possible again?
And this is like you could pick any band.
Pick any band. They have to be alive and be able to tour, obviously.
Okay, yeah. No, yeah, nothing crazy. No miracles. Man, I mean, if we get to have our way, I mean, the Foo Fighters. I
Awesome.
think that would be that's like every rock band's dream.
Yeah, just
Play
just
with
to have Dave Grohl give you a little side hug and be like, "Look at this guy."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of like a unicorn in the rock world today,
Yeah.
kind of the last of a certain breed of rock and roll guys. And yeah, for me, like he was a hero when I was a kid, and he's like still kind of is.
Yeah, I mean, he's like a
still a fan.
demigod. I don't understand how he's alive. Like, just he's like, oh, I'm like one of the greatest drummers in the world. Now I'm going to start a band, and I'm also going to be one of the greatest rock singers and guitar players of all time. Whatever, no big
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. It is an amazing thing that he does. So yeah, the Foo Fighters for sure. I mean,
I'll give him a call. Let him know that you're on the next tour for sure.
Thanks, man. Yeah, give Dave a call for us if you could. That'd be great.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Weezer, they're still out playing. That'd be fun.
Oh yeah. They're supposed to be doing, I think, a tour with like Green Day and
yeah,
I can't remember who, but it's like a big stadium tour. They're supposed to be doing like a 3.
Yeah, that was like the super epic whatever tour or something.
Yeah.
That got put on hold.
Yeah. So you could just open up for those.
Cool.
The California tour.
That'd be awesome. And can you call them too?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Got
Awesome.
Rivers on speed dial, no problem.
Right on. Make it happen.
And then if you could play with any musician alive or dead, who would it be?
Alive or dead? John Lennon.
Awesome. Good answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. He might be a little, I feel like that would be like a kind of a tough collaboration because you'd be like, hey, John, can we play something? He just start playing something. You'd be like, as soon as you start playing, you'd be like, no, stop that.
Yeah, he wouldn't care. I just want to hear him play.
Yeah, exactly. You just stand there like, should I just strum this then? Okay.
Yeah. I just want to hear him talk.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna be around.
All right. So off the top of your head, what would you say is one of the best albums of all time?
Oh man.
You listed a couple already.
Beatles' White Album.
Okay. That's actually funny enough. That's my favorite Beatles album.
Is it?
Yeah.
I think it's mine too. It's hard to pick. Led Zeppelin 4.
Okay.
The Wall. Pink Floyd's The Wall.
Actually, my absolute favorite album of all time is The Wall.
Yeah, man. It might be mine too.
Yeah.
If I really kind of have to choose.
Mm-hmm.
Such an amazing, brilliant, awesome album. Dark Side of the Moon.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So it's awesome because I think we have a lot in common on that. And I think,
I mean,
obviously the concept of doing actual concept albums, Pink Floyd did that light years before a lot of other bands. And obviously with The Wall, they kind of perfected it. And, there's other bands like Rush that did a really good job with some of that stuff. And
sure.
Coheed and Cambry that's done a pretty good job of a concept band, not just a concept album, but
sure.
It's just interesting to see when you put something like that together and just like, this is like a movie that you're listening to. And it's like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. It's next level.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Wall, I think, is probably the best. It's the best concept album ever, if not the best album ever.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I will definitely make sure to get the links to your YouTube, Facebook, website, Spotify, all on this. And
Right on.
we'll actually try to write this out as much as we can. And then, obviously put it in blog and video form on our website. But is there anything you want to say before we wrap up? Let kind of people know, where to contact you or anything like that?
Yeah, right on. Well, yeah, definitely. I want to say thank you. Thanks a lot, Isaac, for having me on and giving me some time to talk about, Raised on TV and just talk about music. That was really fun and really cool.
Yeah. Awesome.
But yeah. I mean, you'll list all this stuff, but definitely stream us on Spotify and Apple Music or whatever it is that you use. And our website's raisedontv.com. So right to the point.
Yeah.
And we're putting out a new song and a new video every 3 weeks. So we actually have one coming out tomorrow.
Awesome. So that's the 9th of April. So
April 9th, we have one coming out called In the Valley.
excellent. And obviously, just one last question. Raised on TV. What made you guys decide on that for the band name?
It was the only name. We had a list of names, like hundreds of names, and it was the only one that every single band member at the time could get behind.
Gotcha.
Because there was, there would be a name that like two of us loved, and then like one of us hated it.
Yeah.
So that was the one that no one hated.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a great name. Obviously, back in the 80s, 90s, all we did was watch TV. Like nobody knew that was that terrible for you. Like, why didn't watch TV and go outside and play? But yeah, wasn't so much YouTube back then.
It was the beginning of where we're at now.
Exactly.
As a society.
Yeah.
So, so it's definitely truthful to us for sure. But it was the one name we all didn't hate. So that's
well, it works.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Awesome. Thank you again so much, Keaton, for being here. And I will definitely post this and let you know when it's available. Hopefully it'll be ready by tomorrow, but it might take a couple of days, and then I'll shoot it over to you and you can share it, and we'll share it all over our social media and everything and let people know. And thank you again for coming. And we look forward to, when you can tour again, we'll come check you out in Vegas.
Dude, thanks, man. Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
All right, man. All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.